right, y'all. So we are getting ready to get started. Okay, let me get. I'm on the right page. Okay, cool. Because I thought I wasn't on the right channel again. So hold tight. We're gonna get into Smackdown. Give me one more second. Just one more. Oh. SmackDown was pretty good. It was pretty good today. Not gonna lie, they did a pretty good job with SmackDown. It went by really quickly, but it was some good matches and it was some decent setups. And yeah, we'll get to that in a second. God, it's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks for SmackDown and the WWE universe as a whole. But I have an idea as to why they're doing what they're doing. I can't say that that's the route that I would have went, but I can say that that's more than likely that this reasoning behind it is the one that makes the most logical sense to me. And I know that's probably not gonna be like enough for some of y'all. Y'all gonna be like, "Nah, you bugging," and I'll be like, "You probably right," but in this instance, it's all I got. It's the only way my brain can compute what is being said to me in regards to these particular matches. So let's talk about the opener of the show. Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis opened up the show today. And essentially, Nick basically gave Cody his next opponent, which was going to be at the King of the Ring tournament in Saudi. I mean, Cody is the champion. He has to have an opponent. So I thought it was a bit odd that his opponent was being introduced the way that Nick introduced him. I thought that was weird. So, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent in Saudi is going to be Logan Paul. Now, I have two reasons for this, okay? And I think Triple H felt like he could kill two birds with one stone here. In this particular match, what you have to remember is that Saudi's a whole different market in a different place. So for us, this is not something that we would want to see. And this definitely isn't something that would be marketable here in the States in terms of longevity. Because you know that Logan Paul is not somebody who's going to be around long enough. And that's why he got a title like the U.S. Championship, because he doesn't have to. He can pretty much do whatever he wants with it as long as it's within the confines of whatever contract he has. With that being said, the Saudi people probably more than likely requested Logan Paul and want him to be there. Now, whether your personal feelings about this man are good or bad, the reality of the situation is that he exceeded expectations in terms of his wrestling capability. He's not a bad wrestler. In fact, he's quite good. The problem is he's not a likable person. It's not even him as a character, because I believe many aspects of him as a wrestler and performer are actually a part of his personality in real life. However, putting that aside and not letting my bias take over, I can freely admit and without any malice in my heart say that he is obviously one of the best wrestlers that WWE has acquired through celebrity fame that I've seen in a very long time. Probably one of the best wrestlers I've seen through celebrity ever. And that says a lot, because there are a lot of celebrities who don't come in, don't dedicate themselves, and don't want to do all of that. They just coming in for the fame. And of course they already have it, so they're not trying to do anything else. And Logan wasn't one of those guys. So you have to give him that respect on that part. However, I just don't like him. And I don't like the way he operates. I don't like the way he does things. And while I can respect him as a businessman and as a performer, I can still say with all my chest that I can give less than a fuck about Logan Paul or what he has going on or what he's doing. Again, those are two separate things. And I think people tend to confuse a lot when I speak about Logan Paul. And the reality is, you cannot deny the man's skill or his talent and what he's capable of. But I can deny that he is a shitty human being. There's no way you can get to where you are in this life and have the success that he has without stepping on some people along the way. And we've seen that happen and play out because the Pauls pretty much gave us a window seat to their lives and their antics, their entire careers. With all that being said, the second reason why Logan Paul more than likely is in this match is more than likely because of that U.S. championship. It's the only title that Cody has not held outside of the NXT titles. And right now, those are the titles that matter, are the main roster titles for main roster talent. Those who are not seeking to go back down to NXT aren't worried about NXT championships. Therefore, Cody's only goal is to acquire every title that he definitely could in the E as quickly as possible. And them having him go up against Logan Paul at the King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view in Saudi is probably one of the quickest ways they could do that. And it'll be a short title reign. But the fact of the matter is he'll be a Grand Slam champion. And that's all that matters. So, like I said, a long way of putting it, but Logan Paul was needed and probably requested for the Saudi show. And two, Logan's not doing anything with that title. And if Cody drops it to someone, somebody's going to get a nice leg up by beating a double champ. You know? So they had their back and forth on the show, said what they needed to say, and then that was it. You know, that was the end of that. So, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't gonna listen to anything Logan Paul had to say. I usually don't because it just comes across as white noise. But he did get signed by his father, Cody Rhodes, on TV today, which I love that for Cody. With all that being said, let's move into this tournament. All right. And I'll give you guys the top commenter of the day in just a second. I want to get this stuff out the way. A shout out to y'all who came in when I went live. I know I was late today, but thank y'all for coming in anyway. So the first match of the night, which they didn't give me a card for on WWE's website. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Let me see. So Jade Cargill went up against Piper Niven today. And I have to say that I'm so proud of that woman and the performance that she put on today against Piper. If you didn't watch her match with Piper, Jade Cargill proved a lot of people wrong today. And I knew that she had it in her. I've always known that she had it in her. And I'm so glad that she had a one-on-one match where she wasn't exactly going to dominate, but she looked good. She looked like she was prepared. She came prepared. Piper wasn't no easy win for her either. She sold everything properly. It was an excellent match for her. And Piper's not an easy woman to fight. She's not an easy woman to beat. Bianca used to get hell from Piper on that Raw roster. Okay? But at the same time, I'm so proud of her and her progress and what she's been capable of. And I've been telling people for months that they got to give Jay some room to grow. And everybody's always making assumptions about her and saying that she's not ready and she's not good enough. But she proved today that she's beyond good enough in a one-on-one match with one of the best women on the roster. And that's been Piper Niven. So y'all can't talk shit about that lady no more. Okay? No more. Because she did that. She did that. It was a very good match for her. It was a good showcase for her. And again, it wasn't something where she was just getting beat up. It wasn't something where Piper was, basically tearing her down. No, it was a good fight for Jade, and Jade 100% had a battle ahead of her against Piper. But she advanced in the tournament. She ended up beating Piper. Despite that hard fought battle with her, she ended up winning, and she was able to advance through. I was so, 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 so proud of her. So proud of her. Tisha said, once I saw Jade come out there in that lime green gear, I knew she was about to fuck shit up. Fair. But the gear was eaten. Eyeshadow was pretty. I love the gear. I love green anyway. It's my favorite color. I think she looked beautiful. She always does. And she just had an excellent match. I can't tell you how proud I am of that woman and how great she did in that match. I'm so happy for her because people was not giving Jade the time of day. And the match she had in France, the match that was a little wonky, wasn't even all Jade's fault. And she got the brunt of that attack. And I didn't like that. So I'm so glad she was able to come out and redeem herself in the end. And Jade looked absolutely amazing today. Y'all missed it if you didn't see it. The next match that we saw, where there was a competition for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, was between Carmelo Hayes and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was drafted back to SmackDown in the supplemental draft. And of course, Carmelo Hayes was drafted like third in the overall draft. So of course, he has got the big head and has been running around telling everybody like, I'm one of the top draftees and I got all the juice. You know what I'm saying? He's very, very arrogant and very cocky. And today, he didn't really get served a slice of humble pie because he did advance over Baron Corbin. But his humbling is coming. Trust and believe. It is coming. Now, shortly after Jade's match with Piper, we got the match between Bianca and Jesus Christ, what's her name? Candice LeRae. So Candice and Bianca had a match. And to be honest, I didn't get to see their match because when I came back in the room, the match was over. I didn't initially leave on purpose, but I kind of figured that Bianca would be the one to advance in this match. And I was right. She did advance over Candice LeRae. So shout out to you, Bianca. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people didn't want Bianca and Jade to advance in a tournament, but I'm going to say that at least one of them is going to get knocked out in that second round. I don't think that both of them are going to stay in the tournament. I think it's going to definitely be a knockout round for one of them in that second round. And we get to see a nice little revisit to the Royal Rumble with Jade Cargill going up against Naomi. Now, my apologies because Naomi's match actually was first. She went up against Nia Jax today, and Naomi and Nia had a decent match, but Naomi just was not able to best Nia Jax, and Nia Jax advanced, and Nia and Naomi was put out of the tournament. So you have Nia, Jade Cargill. They will face off next week. And then you have Bianca awaiting her opponent, which is supposed to be from Tiffany Stratton and Michin, which is more than likely going to happen this weekend at whatever live show they have coming up. I believe Chattanooga is the next live show that they're going to have. And I think 2 of the tournament matches are supposed to happen on that show. So we'll see how the brackets fill out once they have the tournament and they advance. The only matches that haven't been completed for the women's side is Michin and Tiffany's. And like I said, they probably will have them compete at the live house show, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, but Jade looked great. If I could show y'all a picture of what she looked like, let me see if I can pull it up because I think I have one here. She looked stunning, and she usually does. There's very few times where Jade is missing anything when it comes to the looks. She usually hits all of the brackets, and Bianca looked great as well. She looked absolutely amazing, and we love that for her. So I'm gonna show y'all the big bracket when it comes to the women for the tournament. Um, let me see. Also, there was another code that popped up on the screen. I have stopped my decoding days a long time ago, and I'm just gonna wait and see what we get when it comes to Uncle Howdy and the whole crew that they got coming through for that. Okay, so we got majority of the tournament shaped out, and let's get into, let me show y'all the women's side of the tournament that I was talking about. So you can see Nia advanced, Jade advanced, and Bianca advanced, and then you still have the decision between Stratton and Michin, which, I mean, I hate to say it for Michin's sake, but I know that Stratton is the one who's going to advance over her. And then you'll have Bianca going up against Stratton, and then you'll have Nia Jackson, Jade Cargill fighting it out. I see that. I would let Nia go over on Jade Cargill, honestly, and then I would let Tiffany Stratton go over on Bianca, and I would let her cheat to win, and then I would let Nia Jax floor that bitch. Hold on, y'all. My phone is ringing. I'll be right back. Let me take a quick break.
My words, still stress and perfection. Let you all in my mental. Got me looking too desperate. Damn, you ain't desired.
Close your eyes to get away. Just make my mind and I'll arrange it. Beautiful, girl, you're stainless. You'll be fine, I'll be painless, yeah. All I'm drinking is champagne. All you want is
I'm sorry, y'all, but when my little sister called, I have to answer because she cuts up, honey. And whoosies. This is the tournament for now. And like I said, I will have Jax go over on Cargill. I think that'll give her a little bit of adversity, give her a little bit of a bite back. You have Bianca lose to Tiffany. And I know that sounds bad, but y'all got to hear me out first. Okay, have her go down to Bianca, but let her beat Bianca and let her do it in a slimy way. She used the ropes to beat her, and that's the end of that. And then you have Jax going up against Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany Stratton gets completely demolished by Nia Jax. That's the only way I would accept Nia going into the finals, and I think that that's only fair for Nia to go into the finals. I don't have a problem with Nia potentially being the first queen, the second queen of the ring. I don't have no issues with that at all. In fact, I welcome it. It's not like they're going to create a title for Nia to carry. She'll be able to call herself a queen, which everybody else using that moniker at this point, so it ain't special no more. And it ain't. I ain't trying to lie. It ain't special to be a queen no more because everybody calling everybody a queen. You can't be nothing. You either a queen, empress, or you're a princess. And at this point, I just want to be a countess or a duchess. I don't want to be none of them other hoes. Just make me a part of the court. I don't even want to be at the top. I just want to be a part of the court. Put me right there in Bridgerton, child. Anyways, here's what the big bracket looks like, y'all. Let me take my branding off so y'all can see it. Here's what the big bracket looks like before all the additions were added. As like I said, there's 2 matches that we haven't seen yet and aren't televised. Vega and Baszler's match isn't televised. Stratton and Michin's match isn't televised. Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair have all advanced in this tournament. And the setup is as follows. Nia Jax will face off against Jade Cargill next week, okay, to finish out this bracket. And Bianca Belair will more than likely face off against Tiffany Stratton. We'll finally get to the semifinals of this tournament by next week, and we'll be able to see who's going to advance to that last week, who's going to get that last match in Saudi at that Smackdown before we head to the King and Queen of the Ring tournament over in Saudi. Okay, so that's how that went down for the girlies. Okay. She said, wait a minute, I'm a beautiful black queen. Okay, I just said everybody's a queen, honey. I just said everybody a queen. I don't want to call myself no queen no more because everybody's a queen. I want to be a duchess or a countess. You know, make me a noble woman. Shit. I just want to be somebody else. What? What's the matter? No. Everything okay? Mm-hmm. You sure? You can't find my razor. It might be some over here in this cube. You can look over there if you want to. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to call it a day and wait for another time. For all of it.
Oh hell no.
I swear to God, I'm married to a child. Anyways, looking at other white stand back there. It ain't in the makeup part. Now, let's get to the other side of the tournament. I'm just trying to make sure I get the men's bracket up there so y'all can see the men's side of the Smackdown bracket. Did you find one? I told you it was in here. You don't listen, do you? Mm-hmm. I told you. I was right.
Found it too.
It was something in there? I know. Those triple A's, ain't they?
Mm-hmm.
They not doubles?
No. Triples.
This take double A's.
What?
That sprayer.
I think it's double. Yeah, the sprayers are double.
Dad, you got some double A batteries in there? You don't know? Okay. He said his son, he had something in the drawer, but you gotta go in there and look.
It's double.
It's double. Okay, y'all. So the men's bracket for SmackDown looks just like this. Okay. I'm gonna pull it up so y'all can see it, because you got to have visuals. Yeah, because you don't know how to put it in there. Last time you had a whole conniption about putting it in there, was crying and shit because you didn't want to break out. I don't want to bring it.
Remember that. Remember that.
This is what the men's side of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament looked like for SmackDown. AJ Styles faced off against Orton today. Baron Corbin went up against Hayes. Nightwing was supposed to go up against Escobar, but that didn't happen today. And Tama Tonga was going up against Dawkins. Now, originally in that part of the tournament, Dawkins was not supposed to be the one competing. It was supposed to be Bobby Lashley, but they ended up changing it to Dawkins because Bobby Lashley suffered an injury while he was prepping and training, and that caused him to be pulled from the tournament altogether. Now, Tama Tonga came out to a banger of an entrance today. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a wonderful entrance for him. His music, the fire effects, the pyro, everything. I was like, oh my God, today, honey. Hold on. Spray the deodorant. I had to go shower really quickly before I came to do this, and I forgot to put my deodorant on. I gotta do that. Anyway, he came out and Victor Sweet came out with him, and they had G Money and motherfucking I'll Be Sure in the back. Everybody coming out. CMB in full effect. Like, I don't know if Solo heard me calling his cousin Nino Brown or something, but listen, he is worse than Roman is. Because Solo got the suit on with the gloves. He went full nigga hood on us. And I'm a little bit scared. I'm scared for Pauline because he got chin checked today, which I'll get to that in a minute. But there was a match between Tama and Dawkins. And to be honest with you, the match itself wasn't that bad. It actually was a pretty decent match. It was okay, but not in terms of showcasing what Tama Tonga is truly capable of. But what it did do was showcase where the bloodline stood in terms of them continuing their dominance over the main roster. And that's what the whole point of this was. It really wasn't a showcase of Tama's skill, which I feel like it should have been. They didn't even allow that to happen. Majority of that match was in Dawkins' favor, if we're being fair. Now, a lot of people felt like Dawkins shouldn't have been the one to compete in the tournament in the first place, that it should have been Montez. And while I agree, but if Dawkins was not advancing and Montez was going to be the one, I'd rather it be Dawkins to eat the pin rather than making it be Montez Ford. Montez Ford needs to be able to get off and get his feet running. He does not need to have to worry about eating a pin in a tournament that won't do him any good one way or another. For Dawkins, he can eat this pin and progress forward. For Montez, he needs the momentum of continuing to shine like the star that he is. So they protected Montez and they put Dawkins out there instead. The way they prefaced it was that Dawkins stepped up to the challenge to take over for Bobby Lashley. In this match, Solo definitely interfered, costing Dawkins the match, and they attacked Montez Ford, took him out, and then they turned around and attacked Dawkins and took him out. After the match was over, it was a brutal attack on both of these men. It was nasty, okay? Now, what we saw on TV with Solo and Pauline was a very interesting example of how power can be wielded, especially when it comes to the bloodline. You see, Paul Heyman has had no contact with Roman Reigns in any way, shape, or form. And so Solo is like, while you may not have had any contact with Roman, I have. I talked to him. He gave me clearance to run the bloodline as I see fit until he returns. So until he comes back, you're going to be my tribal chief and you report directly to me. And then he hugged him. He told him to hug him. And then he looked back at his two minions in terms of Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, and both of them were in full acknowledgement of him being in control. But I don't believe for a minute that Solo has spoken to Roman. Roman is not the type of guy to talk to more than one person. And there's no real reason why he would have cut off Pauline in any way, shape, or form. We're going full kayfabe on this one because it has to make sense, right? Your mind is telling you, oh, Roman did tell him that he was next in line to take over the throne, essentially. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. But why wouldn't he then tell Paul once the gig was up, listen, Solo's taking over. I'm going on hiatus. Run the show through Solo, right? He would have given Paul explicit orders on what to do. Okay. He has not done that. He hasn't communicated with anyone. And I don't believe that he's communicated with Solo either. Solo is lying. Solo has taken over because he can. There is no one to check his power or take it away from him. And quite frankly, why would there be? He said that wins and losses matter. And quite frankly, he has acted as if he has not lost anything when he has lost over 34 matches these past couple of years. I would have to say that wins and losses mean a lot. And it's very interesting because if we're going by his logic, then he can kind of wipe the slate clean and move forward with the way that he's been moving. In Solo's defense, I could understand why he took over the bloodline, but for him to introduce new members and then to force Pauline into doing the job of being his right-hand man, we now, it is worse than what it is with Roman. And he's not ruling in terms of the WWE or the bloodline in an iron fist. He's ruling in complete and utter fear. And that is a different type of control than what Roman had. Roman's control was a vice grip. It was meant to maintain order and respect. And while, yes, he sat at the top reaping the fruits of that labor, in sense, when he left, it was a full-on vacuum of them leaving this gaping hole. While Cody is doing his best to fill it, there's not a lot of people who are going to be able to do what Roman was capable of in the time span that he was able to do it. So now you have a system that is broken. How do you fix it? Well, in Solo's eyes, the way you fix it is that you double down on the fear. You double down on the control, but not in the sense of I want respect because I'm the champion. I want respect because you fear me. And that's how Solo is ruling. And that's where it's going to be his downfall for sure, for sure. For sure, for sure. Let me get into the comment section here. Teresa said, I'm not sure if you mentioned it yet, but major props to Alicia Taylor. She did amazing. I talked about Alicia Taylor, I believe it was last week, when I found out that she was moving up to the main roster, but it became official this week. This past Tuesday was her last day in NXT, and they immediately started her on Smackdown this past Friday. Now, I don't know what they're going to do when they go to Saudi. They might have Mike Rowe do the announcing over in Saudi, unless they fully cover up over there. They have been laxing in Saudi a little bit with the women, allowing them to wrestle, so they may allow the female ring announcers to do the same, just as long as they respect the culture, keep themselves covered up, and, you know, do what they're supposed to do. So I'm hoping that they do, which I would love that for both Samantha and for Alicia Taylor, because I can't remember at the last show if they had Samantha do the announcing or not. I don't remember. But she did do a great job. She said it smells like shit. Jesus. Oh, God. Meaning Solo, he know damn well he ain't talked to that nigga. I'm telling you, he ain't talked to him. He has not talked to Roman at all. No one has. Roman hasn't tweeted. He hasn't put nothing on Instagram. He hasn't done anything. And usually somebody from Roman's team is moving his social media along. And if it is, it's either something old or something really out of the way. You don't really see anything. The last time we saw anything posted of Roman was he was working out. And that was the last time I heard or saw anything about Roman. Maybe one of y'all that follow him know better than I do. But as far as I know, on his Twitter, for sure, it's been radio silent. There's been nothing. So I know for a damn fact that he has not talked to that man. He has not spoken to him. He hasn't said anything to him. He is running the show without any clearance. Without any clearance. None. Okay? Yeah, when he said I talked to him, I thought, is his phone with us? Girl. I just don't understand why Paul isn't able to contact Roman on his own. Well, if you recall, if we living in the kayfabe world, right? We're living in that kayfabe world. Pauline's phone was destroyed, remember? When he tried to call Roman in the middle of the ring after Solo called the audible, then he took his phone and he smashed it. Now, if we going by, real talk, keeping it all the way 100, it's 2024. I know for a damn fact most of y'all don't memorize numbers. I know most of y'all ain't memorized nobody's phone numbers. Okay, I know y'all have it. Solo smashed his personal phone when Tama Tonga showed up. Exactly. She said he hasn't posted on Instagram either. I follow that fine ass. I know you do. I know he hasn't posted anywhere because I would have seen it. They would have been blasting it everywhere, all throughout social media if he posted. And he hasn't. He's been radio silent since he's been off doing his movie. And then even then, too, I think Roman probably done filmed all the parts of the movie he's supposed to film. I think that's probably said and done. Unless they got some more stuff that he got to do, or he's more heavily involved in the movie than we think. But even so, like, most people are very active on their socials, and even Roman posted every now and then. He's not posting anything. There's just no way that this man hasn't talked to him. I mean, has spoken to him, and Paul hasn't. Paul had a direct connection to Roman. Why would that be severed all of a sudden out of nowhere? And Solo's the only one that gets in touch with him? Nah, fam. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The only phone numbers I have memorized are Malcolm's and my mom and my sister's. Fair. I can tell you right now, I don't remember my sister's phone number. Nope, I don't. I have to look at my phone to pull it up. I do know my mom's number by heart. And I know my dad's number, but it changed. So I had to try to reprogram my brain. But I do know my mom's phone number by heart. My grandma's phone number been the same since I was a child. And I remember AJ's number like it was yesterday. So I know those phone numbers. But if you ask me like out the blue, what's your sister's phone number? I'm be like, oh, damn. Can't tell you that. Don't know. And Malcolm has had the same number since 2006. Well, damn. I mean, shit. The consistency of that man. Wow. How long? I've had my phone number for a while, though. So but 2006? I done had at least 3 phone numbers since 2006. God damn. You ain't changed Verizon. You ain't moved from Verizon to Sprint yet. You still with them? Good Lord. Since 2006. I remember my mom's at the beginning of my grandmother's. Fair. My sister gets a new number every month. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I'm just saying, if Solo really talked to Roman, Pauline would have known, and he don't. But I promise y'all a picture of Jade, and she just looks stunning, y'all. Y'all see this? Do y'all see what we get to see, what we get to look at every week? It's a beautiful woman. She did absolutely beautiful today. If you didn't watch it, you need to watch it. The clips should be up on YouTube by now. she had a really, really good showing against Piper. Piper is one of those people that can wrestle with anybody, no matter her size, no matter their skill level. Piper always makes you look really, really good. But on top of that, Jade just performed effectively. She sold the moves like she was supposed to. She didn't oversell or undersell. She was right where she needed to be. And she hit her mark. She wasn't out of place. There was no botching in this match. Everybody calls her a botch queen from what I've seen. And she did not botch, not nary time in this match. She was flawless in this match. Flawless. It was so good. And I was so proud of her and of Piper. Piper be giving everybody her all in that ring. And I hope that if they introduce a mid-card at some point, that Piper gets an opportunity to hold it, because she deserves that opportunity. Between her and Natalia, those are the two women. If I had a newbie come in the ring and I really wanted them to shine, those two women are the ones I would put you up against. Well, Sprint is no longer. They were bought out by T-Mobile. Yeah, they were. You're right. My mom's number has been the same since 2008. When I broke my arm when I was 8, I recited that thing so fast I can't. Anywhoosies, so let's get to the nitty gritties, the finals of the show. Okay, so we know for sure. Let me get back to the tournament. Let me see. That's the women's side. What did I do with the men's? So we know for sure right now that Hayes and Tonga have advanced in the tournament. The last match that we saw tonight was between Styles and Orton. They came on at 9:31. So they gave them a pretty long run time for a match. I thought this match was going to be the last 15 minutes of the show. And then they were going to give Stratton and what's-her-face the opportunity to wrestle on the show. But I guess out of fairness, they decided to pull that match back and let the girls wrestle on a house show, which would give the people who go to the live events something to look at or know that we folks who watch every week wouldn't find out until they decided to announce it or the show would run. With that being said, there's one match left on the card that has to be completed, and that would be LA Knight and Santos Escobar. And they're going to compete, and whoever wins in that match will go up against Tonga, which I'm assuming is going to be LA Knight. Lord have mercy. So now Randy Orton had a little message for Tama Tonga and crew. Essentially, Kevin Owens is out due to the events that happened at the France show for Backlash. And Kevin is out. And he was put out, at least that's what they're giving us in terms of storyline. And Randy seemed to be very cross and upset about it. And he told Tama that it wasn't going to be an RKO out of nowhere that he had to look for. He said that it was going to be very, very much in his face, that he was going to see it coming. And I said, okay. Daddy Randy is tripping. We're going to let Daddy calm down. Okay. Anyways, y'all. So the final match of the night was Randall going up against AJ Styles. Now, AJ Styles seemed to be very much in his feelings, as well as he felt like he shouldn't have suffered a loss against Cody Rhodes. He thought that loss was a little, it didn't represent him fully, and he's going to get his opportunity to get back to that. And the first step is getting this King of the Ring tournament in the bag. So he went up against Randy, hard fought battle. And, he chop blocked Randy, worked on that knee, but ultimately Randy was able to pick up the win over AJ Styles. And AJ Styles, once again, has suffered a loss to another Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. Even though he's a Hall of Famer in itself, AJ Styles seems to be the one to be doing most of the work in terms of putting over these particular superstars, and they're dancing over him. I can understand his frustration and anger, but at the same time, you got to stop and ask yourself, why is it always me? I don't know, Perk Plus. That's a question you're going to have to look deep inside and ask, find out for yourself. You got to think about it. Use that noggin and all that that was pretty much the show. We had a long monologue between Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes. Now, what they did do was set us up for next week. Like I said, the tournament will continue and we'll be into the semifinals by next week. Nia Jax is going to face off against Jade Cargill next week, and we'll see who Bianca Belair will face off against next week. On Monday Night Raw, you're also going to have Io Sky facing off against whoever wins between Vega and Baszler. And then you'll have Valkyria and Zoe Starks facing off on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. On the men's side, it's very similar, but I don't have that bracket, I don't think. Let me go and look. Let me see what I got. Is Money in a box? There we go. Dragunov is supposed to face off against Jey Uso. And then you've got the winner between Kofi and Rey Mysterio. And then, of course, Gunther is going to face off against that winner. And whoever wins in the quarterfinals will then go to the semifinals. And then we will have our final match at the King and Queen of the Ring, PLE. And it'll be either of these four men competing. Gunther, more than likely, is Kofi that advances over Rey Mysterio. Dragunov or Jey Uso will compete in the finals, and the same goes for the men's side with the guys on the other side. Now I feel like running through it. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for all of that, okay? He do look like he used Perk Plus. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for all of that. This tournament was a fun thing to watch. I really like it. I can't wait till they start building up for Money in the Bank. I hope that they have 8 slots for Money in the Bank. That way anybody can qualify and possibly be eligible. Let's run over these PLEs one more time before I get out y'all here and leave y'all alone. King and Queen of the Ring is in a few weeks. We are in May 10th, okay? So let's pull it up. Calendar. We got 2 weeks, 2 full weeks before we hit the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Next week is going to finish out the quarterfinals of the tournament. And then that following week, the week of the 20th, is where we're going to see the semifinals. And then we'll get the finals on that Saturday at the actual PLE. The rest of the PLE is going to be filled with matches on the card, which have already been booked. We got 3 of the 4 champions booked out for, 3 of the 5. Well, no, we got all of the champions booked, which they kind of told on themselves a little bit with that big ass poster. They kind of told on themselves a little bit when they told us that they was going to have Becky, because Becky is defending her championship against Liv Morgan. They also told on themselves a little bit with Sami Zayn being on the cover of the King and the Queen tournament poster, because he is in a triple threat against Reed and Gable. And then finally, we just learned today that Cody Rhodes will face off against Logan Paul, champion versus champion. And I would imagine that it would mean winner takes all. At least that's what they said. But a lot of people say it, though. So the last couple of champions that are not defending their title at this moment would be the 2 sets of tag team champions in Austin Theory and A-Town Down Under. And then you have over on Raw, you have Awesome Truth. And then you've got good old Bailey. Pammy Pockets is the last one left. So I don't know how they're going to do this. I'm very curious, but they may double back to Tiffany Stratton, seeing as how she was not pinned, and she more than likely will be put out of the tournament. They may double back to Tiffany Stratton and have Tiffany go up against Bailey at Saudi and see how that works out for her, especially since she wasn't pinned in the triple threat in Backlash. So that's always a place where they can go. It's an easy, quick match that they can have in Saudi and let it be over and done with. You know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. Okay. I will see you guys on Monday after Monday Night Raw. Once again, we are going to be running through that tournament and seeing how the tournament shapes up. We got some good matches set up. Dragunov versus Jey Uso is going to be nuts on Monday. Okay, that's gonna be crazy, bro. All right. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for coming through and listening to me rant and rave about wrestling. And I will see your beautiful faces on Monday. Bye.